Hi, Adam Collingwood here, and welcome to this training session this morning. It's the 2nd of August at just gone past about 11 o'clock. And what I want to do in this training session is just talk to you about the importance of being able to change the way that you're trading. So being long, having a long position where the market you think is going one way, and just knowing that it could change at any moment. So the great thing about trading, if you're spread betting, is that you can trade both ways. So you can buy or short sell at any moment. And what we're going to focus on here is the DAX Income Optimiser strategy. And I'm going to go into that now and just show you how quickly the market can change. So what you're going to see at the moment is the 5-minute chart of the German DAX. And I'm going to show you what happened yesterday. So as I just shrink this a little bit, you'll be able to see that the DAX on the right-hand side, you'll be able to see that if you look at the yellow, it's at 12,137. So the DAX, it actually just pushed up from that point. You see this one here, 12,114 as well. The DAX had actually pushed up, and it looked like it was really going north. Okay, so it got to 12,254 by 11:45. And then by the time we got to 4:30 again, the price had got all the way back up to 12,254. Now, can you imagine if you were in a long position and you weren't managing that trade correctly? You could have looked at your iPhone, you could have opened up the app on there and seen, oh, great news, I've been going long, everything's all going tickety-boo, and you might have been in profit, not knowing that just around the corner was this great big candle here. These candles are all 5-minute candles. So you can see from here, 6:20, where it suddenly changed direction. So it completely engulfed the earlier move in the day from earlier in the morning from here to here. So though that had been, 100 pip move, nice little move in the morning for us with the DAX Income Optimiser. But this is what happened next. So we could be long in this position, but you got to be able to very, very quickly change direction because the markets can change fast, okay? And here was an opportunity for a trade using the DAX Income Optimiser strategy. Okay, so you could have, let's just draw this for you. So here, just this point was the entry, okay? And that was at around about the 12,230 mark. Now, if I have a look at the spread bet ticket where the entry was, so let's just go to that now. So, okay. Yeah, so you can see the entry here was at 12,227 yesterday. So that was just a small trade at £2 per point. Okay, just here. So there was the entry, okay? And at the moment, that's the profit. So it dropped. I'm just going to show you what happened next. So it dropped all the way to 11.9. Well, it's 11.963. It did drop even further than that. So let's just go back to the chart again. So this trade, I'm just going to show you where the stop was. The stop on that particular trade was just here, okay? So this was the previous cycle on that move. So the stop was 12,269, okay? and the entry here was 12, roughly. Well, I mean, I tried to get in as early as possible, but as you can see before, it was 12,227. So good enough. You know, it's dropped by what, 250 pips so far, which is a nice little move for us. So let's just clear that now. Clear drawings. These were 5-minute candles. So if you see how quickly that drop was, so by the time we got to 735, the price had already dropped to this level of support, which was at 12,035. Okay. Now, I could have taken the profit at that point, but because the momentum was strong with it, I decided to manage the trade and keep it open just in case there was any more momentum. All right. So in that respect, what I was looking at was putting a stop at 12,114. So I'd have still, you know, banked over 100 pips there, which would have been very nice. But I decided that it was worthwhile leaving the trade open overnight.
Alert triggered.
So these are all 5-minute candles overnight. You see this one. This dropped to what, 11,921. This is at 4:25 in the morning. Okay, and then this morning 650 again. Price dropped a bit further, and you can see here it's still very much in the sell zone. And what I mean by that, if you look at my secret weapon here, this line shadows everything. That's what keeps us in the trade. Okay, so a lot of traders, and they'll say to me the biggest problem they have is knowing when to close a trade and take profit, or when to exit to get out early and keep the loss small. So if you think about it here, so if I reiterate again, there's the stop. Okay, there's the entry. And the first target point was just down here, which I could have taken, as I said, I could have taken the profit at that point. But because the DAX had stayed below my black line here, I wanted to stay in the trade. Now, of course, you know, the question you would ask is, would it crossed over there? Well, at that time, I wasn't actually around. I was fast asleep in bed. But I did actually have a stop in place in case it did actually start to move back up the other way, which, as I say, it was just around that place here. So I could have taken the profit there, and I'd have still been 100 pips to the good. Okay. So let's just drag this across again and clear these drawings. So the trade was left overnight. That's how it was managed. And at no point was I in any danger of the trade being closed down. So at the moment, let's go back to the amount of pips. So let's just go in there, have a look at that. So we're talking at the moment from the open level of 12,227. I mean, we're well over, you know, we're 250 pips to the good at the moment. Okay, so 250 pips to the good. The current profit at the moment, let's cancel that down, is, as you can see here, again, well, I'm going to show you this entry in a minute. That was the second one, which I just basically like to add to a trade sometimes. So it's 12,227. And so what I did was I added to this, which was 12,010. So that was this one, okay? And that one was opened this morning. So I'm just going to show you what point. This was not on the 5 minute, it was on a 1 minute, okay? So let's just go back to that again. 1 minute chart. And so that was this morning. Here there was an entry made. So just when the DAX had opened, price of that one was, as you can see, was 12.010. So that was where the entry was, slightly below that as I was trying to catch it as it came through. The stop was actually up here. Okay, so just at that point, again, it's always above the candle. So important to know precisely where your stop's going to be. All right. So that was just there, at that point. And the entry was just here. Let's just draw that for you. There. Okay. So stop was just above the candle there. That was the entry. And you can see immediately it dropped all the way to 11.940. So I could have taken, again, profit at that point, but I left the trade open, and I'm just going to show you where all those trades will be closed. So let's just have a look at that now. That's important to know where you're going to take profit. All right. So here I'm just about to put an alarm in, which is at 11.988. Okay. So if the price starts to rally, then I will close all 3 trades down as soon as it crosses that point now. So at 11.988 on this trade, I'm not going to really make much on that. So what, 22 pips, something like that. I'll lose a bit on that one, which is tiny because I just added to the trade on the premise that, you know, it still had more momentum. But of course, the main trade, which I did yesterday when I sold at 12.227, if I take the profit there at 11.988 here, I'm still going to be 250 pips to the good there. So well worth having that, a bit less than 250. But I'll be able to take profit at that time, and that's not a bad bit of work in just, well, it's actually less than 24 hours because this trade was made at 6:30 yesterday, being the 1st of August, 6:20, something like that yesterday. Now, the expectancy is, though, if I hold on to the trade, is for the price to come back and touch here. So it could come back to about 11.860. So we could be looking at another 100 pips. But if we look at what the DAX has already dropped by, if you can see here, it's already fallen by 275 pips, which is, you know, 2%, 2.25%. Now, you might wonder why that's happened. Why is the price just suddenly dropped like it has? I mean, that's tends to be, people will ask the question, is it because of the latest news on interest rates from the ECB? The Fed were announcing cuts of only 0.25% instead of 0.5%. Now, the real answer to that is, or the true answer to it is, nobody actually knows, because we don't know where, even when there's good news that comes out, the markets fall, and when there's bad news that comes out, the market falls. So we just don't know. All we can do is just respond to the price action and have a very clearly defined strategy of when to enter, exactly where you're going to get out, so you can then measure that risk then versus the reward of where your target points are. So you're always looking for small risk between here and here, and you're looking a little bit further ahead as to where potentially you're going to make the money. And as I said at the very beginning, you've got to be able to very quickly switch from being long to being short. You can't think, as many people will, because of the psychology of trading, oh, it's just going to keep going up and up, and get very, very blasé about it because if somebody had bought there and they hadn't managed to trade correctly, if they hadn't put a stop in, if they hadn't done everything correctly, they could have been looking at a significant loss if they'd been buying, because of course I was selling as it dropped through there. Okay, so that's that's just so important that people do, that they do really just have absolute control of everything that they're doing, because if they don't, then that's where they're going to get caught, they're going to catch a cold. And they certainly don't want to do that with trading, because there's many that do get burnt, and they never actually recover from it because they just blow up their trading account. So you've got to always be in control. Stop there, entry there, target point, you're going to take the money there. If not, then just make sure that you actually do have a plan. So you can see at the moment, price, this blue line here is a 50 unit moving average, so 50 lots of 5 minutes. So of course that's quite a good little indicator of a trend, as the price on this five minute chart, the last 50 5-minute candles, is this what this moving average is here. Okay, but my stop will be here. But the question is, well, you should be asking, and I'm going to tell you the answer to it, is why haven't I got a stop in here? Now, if I was going to be leaving my trading desk, I would be putting a stop in somewhere up here. Okay, so around the 11,988. But at the moment, I've got an alarm in. So as soon as that gets touched, an alarm suddenly goes off full blast, because I have it on full speaker, just to let me know if I'm away from my desk, and it will come up and it'll say alert triggered, and then that's it. I can then close the trade. I don't want to put a stop in now and let people know when my stop is. Okay, so I just literally just leave that alarm in there, and then I can do what I need to do at the time. So with these trades, so that was that 2 there was the 5 minute entry from yesterday. This was one I added to as the price crossed for the DAX Income Optimiser strategy I created. Disciplined me to enter, and you had a very clearly defined stop, as said. That was just adding to winning position. And this one here was, again, you can see a much lower entry, which is why they're just tiny amounts. Okay, but you know, small hinges swing big doors, and so you can see, you know, just putting small amounts per point on, they can add up to nice sizable amounts. So my goal here is to take the profit, as I say, somewhere down here, about 11,873. If it gets that far, that's why I'm leaving the trade open. Okay, so I would take the profit if it gets down that far. All right. So, to recap, this is so important, being able to switch from going long to going short very quickly, managing the trade, making sure that you're always in control, so you won't actually suddenly suffer a loss. You look at the app on your phone, trading app, and oh my God, you know, you've suddenly lost money because you've been silly and you haven't actually put a stop in place. And you would have missed out on this beautiful trade, which I called yesterday and sold, as you can see there. And clearly here, if I needed to go out, then my stop would be there, 11,988. So that's just a recap on where to enter, where to put your stop, how to manage the trade, and knowing when to switch from being long to going short. If you do have any questions, then just let me know. You can either email me, which is adam@learnhowtotradeshares.com. Leave a comment somewhere below this video. But for those of you who are already have gone through trading DAX Income Optimiser, all the people that I coach that listen to this, happy trading, and I will speak to you all very soon.